Hello, dear family in Rotary District 6840. My name is Annie, and I am District Rotaract Chair for 2022 to 2025. And I am here to share with you some resources that the district and Rotary International has for you to increase your impact and engage younger people through Rotaract clubs or engaging them in your Rotary club. If you have access to this video, you should also have access to this Google Drive that has tons of resources for you in your specific situation. In this first folder, you will have access to how to start a Rotaract Club resources. I did a video previously for that one that explaining and walking through their resources. This second folder has information on, okay, so you have a Rotaract Club, but how do you make it better? How can you improve it? And this third one, the one that we are seeing right now, is my community doesn't have a population for a Rotaract Club, but we want to engage younger leaders. How do we do that? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be going through these resources and hopefully answering some of the questions that you might have. You can always email me or email your district Rotaract and young professional leaders, and as well as your district leadership. We are here to serve you and to help you create a bigger, better impact. So I'm not going to go through the Rotaract handbook. If you're new to Rotaract, if you're new to the young professional world in Rotary, this is a great resource. And of course, you're welcome to come and check out all the resources that we have. But I am going to be focusing specifically on young professionals. So there are three big resources that I have for you here today. By the time that you're seeing this, there might be some more that we will add, but this is what we're going to go over today. So this one that is a very short, useful information for you to that a past district governor, I believe. No, actually, the Rotary Club of the downtown Boca Raton, Florida. I am 45 minutes away from this man right now. Um, they were sharing about what is the value that Rotary clubs have for young professionals. So this is a great way for you to share it, maybe print it for your club meeting, post it on social media, and understand what is the value that young professionals see in Rotary clubs. So this is very good for you to have. We are going to go over this toolkit a little in a second, that Rotary International has for how to engage young professionals is very interesting what they have here. It helps you create sort of a plan on how to engage young leaders into your club. It talks about the why do we need to get young professionals? A cool video on how, how the experiences on how connecting with young professionals and exploring the toolkit. Let's just go over it really quick. We have here the audience to understand who are you targeting, because if you are on this boat, evidently you want to grow your membership in a younger generation. You want to include people in their 30s or 40s or 20s even into your Rotary Club, and that is awesome, and I congratulate you for that. But it's important for you to understand who are the young professionals that you are targeting. So it talks about only 5% of the Rotary members are under the age of 40. And how can you get young professionals to join? There are some statistics here about millennials. That is kind of the audience that you are going to be targeting. It's going to be shifting in a few years from millennials to Gen Zs. That is what I am. I'm 22 right now. In 2024, I am 22 years old. But we are going to be mostly targeting people in their 30s, late 20s. So it just gets you understand what is the pace, what are they doing, why will they join a Rotary Club? I think this is very cool, information that talks about motivators and drivers. What is the difference between Gen Eds and the millennials? And I'm going to go ahead and include Gen Zs in this section and target as well. It helps you to understand also what are the difference in the cultures of each generation, so to speak. There is a big difference for, I think, what I see in working with Rotary for almost 7 years now. The difference in which we communicate over email or even text or calls. You just have to understand it, appreciate it, and figure out a way to move forward. We got to meet in the middle. We, the younger generation, need to make an effort, and so the more seasoned generation, so to speak, how to talk to the audience, how to inspire millennials and Gen Zs. I am not going to read all of this. You're more than welcome to go and to go through this to more detail, understanding the culture of your club in what makes it attractive or not to a young professional. So what's the perception of your club? What's the reality of your club? This is very good information to share. Actions on how to improve your club's culture if that's your goal. I'm assuming if you're here is because you want to make this happen, and to make things happen we need to take action. We cannot expect the same result doing the same thing, because that is the definition of madness, right? So actions and more resources, things that you can check, club health check, membership asset. There's so many resources that Rotary International has for this. How to connect with young professionals here. How do we make that connection? Here is information about it. Partner with your community, with an action group, a Rotary Community Corp, even the Chamber of Commerce usually has a young professional section. Using social media, leveraging social media, Facebook, Instagram, understanding where your target audience is and meet them there, meaning that we cannot expect to post, let's say, I cannot expect to reach Rotarians posting on TikTok because Rotarians are not on TikTok. If I want to engage with teenagers, then I will have to post on TikTok and so on. So here are 3 things to get started. Understand your audience, understand what's the commitment that's involved, and start small and focus. You don't have to target everything, but target something. Here's some cool social media posts. There are social media resources. How to plan a successful event, community service, engage young leaders, engage with the Rotary Club, interact parents. Here it talks a little bit more about engagement, of what does it take to engage the emerging leaders in Rotary, and how to engage prospective members. Be ready to talk about Rotary, and here are really action guide and information that you can use to invite them to your new meeting and see what their interests are, and see if they're a good match for your club in terms of what they're looking for and what your club can offer. Make sure that they feel included and respected. It might be a big difference if you invite one young professionals in your club, doesn't look like them. You can try to invite maybe 2 young professionals or 3 young professionals, so they have somebody else that look like them, so they feel not as out of place. And once they get to know your club and the wonderful people in your club, they are gonna feel like they belong. But at first, it might be a big shift, and it might be a deal breaker for them, and they might not come back because they didn't feel like they belong and they didn't feel welcome. So we need to make sure that we make them feel welcome, and we make them feel that they belong. Make sure that they don't sit alone at lunch. Make sure that somebody in your club is reaching out to them and asking them, what's your name, where are you sitting, shalala, shalala, shalala. Usually the person who invites them makes this happen, but if we have somebody else in the club, that will be also very good. How to engage current members and club leadership. Here are all the membership tools that you can check out. It's a lot, but as I said, start small, target one, and go from there. And the last one in this toolkit is to their value. And I don't know if I said in this video, on their video about Rotaract, but it's important that we understand what do young professionals, and I think this applies for every member. of the Rotary family, not just professionals, sport Rotarians, Rotary actors, interactors, everybody. What are we looking for, and what is the club able to deliver? Because if it doesn't match, it's not going to work out. If I want personally be in a club where I can do service and professional developments, but we never, ever have a club service activity or a networking event, I'm not getting what I want. Therefore, I'm not going to be there for very long. So deliver continued value, understand what is it that they want really, truly. And these can be learned through conversation, through surveys, mostly asking for it, and be willing to listen. So make sure that you keep delivering value. Here are some great stories on young professionals that are part of the members, the Rotary clubs. And just it's all about membership. There are a bunch of resources here that are very good. As I said, you have access to this toolkit here that should be in the Google folder. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share a QR code where you can get here directly. Now, last year, I believe in 2023, yes, in our district conference that was in Harrisburg, we had a breakout session where we discuss how to engage young professionals. And out of that breakout session, we had incredible conversation and created these notes. So we understood what were the motivators and drivers of the young professionals in the room, what were their pain points, kind of their stopping points, what things they didn't like so much about their experience, and lastly, how to start engaging young professionals and some additional resources. So I'm just going to go over them really quick, but you're more than welcome to read it. And what this helps us to understand is if we wanted to include young professionals in our club, see what are the motivators and drivers and how can we enhance that? How can we show that? And the pain points, how do we minimize those? How can we resolve those issues? The number one motivator is the network. If you are just graduated out of college, or you are, 25, 26 and have a few years into your career, but want to expand your career, of course, you want to be in a Rotary club. And then we want to have the opportunity to have access to stable professionals that can serve as your mentors and your friends and your possible business partners. The other motivator for some of the people in the room is that service was part of their life for a long, long time. They were part of the Key Club in high school, or the Interact Club, or they were involved in service throughout their life, and that's a big part of their life. So they want to be part of Rotary as well. Someone reached out to them and invited them. They didn't know anything. They didn't have a service background. They really didn't need the networking for that, but they were invited, so they went. Somebody else mentioned that they love service background. I think all of this comes down to really professional development and personal development. Because if we see all of this, it's all about networking, about mentorship, about getting something from that experience of service that really fills you up as a person and as a human. So here are the motivators and drivers from the people, as I said, in our session. This is very good, a very good sample, because we had a very diverse group of people, and it's just very good to have it in mind. So what are the pain points, right? What makes it not an enjoyable experience, or what makes it complicated to be in a Rotary club? One is that whenever they go, they're invited, they go, they don't feel welcome. And that can look very differently. But it can look like they are sitting by themselves in a table, nobody went and say hello. And if you're not an extroverted person, if you're not gonna go and introduce yourself to every single person in the room, you're more likely to just, you're entering a new place, and that's completely valid, to not know what's going on. So feeling of an outsider, don't feeling welcome, looking around and looking like nobody looks like me, or I don't feel like I belong, I don't feel welcome in this space. That's the biggest one, really. The other one that they mentioned was higher dues. Of course, Rotary might be expensive for some people, for some young professionals. I can share for the experience of the Rotary Club of Bay St. Louis, we have in our bylaws, I believe, but we have a section in our membership that says that anybody under 35 pays a lower rate. Not sure exactly what the rate is right now, but there is an incentive for people under 35 to be a member of our club. And we kind of limitate those economic restrictions. It might be also an option for you as a seasoned Rotarian or somebody that really believes that engaging younger leaders is important to maybe sponsor these young professionals for the first one young professional for the first year of the Rotary membership. And when they get the value and once they are engaged, then you're going to pay for it because you're going to see, I am getting a lot of this experience. I am willing to invest in it. It is harder to get them to that point if they don't know anything about Rotary. Once, as I said, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, once they're engaged, they're going to pay for it. The reason is that meetings are not flexible. Not everybody can make it during the weekday at lunch. That's why we have breakfast clubs, satellite clubs, afternoon clubs, virtual clubs. There's so many different experiences. But if you are in, let's say, a town where you're the only Rotary club, maybe considering starting a satellite club. Or if your club really just have 5 people and you're very much struggling with membership, what's good for those 5 people and the prospective members, and maybe changing the time that your club has historically met. So 52 weeks out of the year is a big commitment. I don't think there are any more restrictions on how many meetings you have to attend. And finding so that I don't know if that it's valid anymore. I don't know if there are clubs that still have that, but the last pain point is to finding common ground between an older and younger generation. A generation, it's a little bit challenging, and there needs to be intention between the two. We have to meet in the middle. So how do we have, let's say, conversation starters? Maybe when you get into your Rotary Club meeting, you have some questions that you print, and some questions that you can ask, whatever the age of the person is, you have some conversation started. So how do we start? Make sure that you give your new members, it should be any member really, but especially your younger members, a role. Try not to stereotype, like try not to fall into stereotypes. It's not okay, so you're young, you can do the social media. Maybe I don't like social media. Maybe I like planning. Maybe I like survey. Ask them what their strengths are and what they will want to contribute in what area. Make sure that they have a job, even if it's a simple job that they want to do, right? If you want to join, if you want young professionals to join your club, if you made that decision, you need to be able to adapt and change. And as I'm saying, you as a member of a Rotary Club, as a board member of a Rotary Club, we need to increase our capacity to adapt. If you don't want any more members, especially younger people, then you're fine. Keep doing the things that you're doing. But if you want to include more people, sorry. Here you go. If you want to include more people, you need to change. You need to adapt to not what I'm saying, but to what the community and the population of younger people in your area is saying that they want. So the other point is that you cannot saying that you want to be diverse without being inclusive. Inclusivity and diversity, that just enters a whole new conversation. But it all ends up in belonging, I feel like. Make sure that they feel like they are welcome there and they belong to that area and belong to that space. Find projects are important to younger generation. Usually environmental things, if they are young professionals and have kids, maybe education is something that they are very passionate about because of their kids. Just find the interest, as I said, through conversations, through surveys. sponsor young professionals, find somebody in that young professional population that you think will be good to be in a Rotary Club and say, I will sponsor your membership for the first year as a Rotarian. You can start a satellite club, you can start a Rotary Club. You can go to the Young Professional Chamber of Commerce. You can reach out to alumni of participants of RILA, Youth Exchange, NRAC, Rotaract, members of the community that you have given a scholarship to. Many Rotary clubs have been given scholarships for years and years and years now, and now they are likely to have come back to your town. So there are so many things that you can do to include more young professionals. And one thing that I really like for those that are in their late 30s, early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, that have kids, if you go to events, sports events for kids and sponsor them or share about Rotary, there's just so many different ways to get the attention of young professionals. And when you get their attention, make sure that they feel like Rotary is a place where they want to be part of. They want to be part of this community and this family. Anyway, so a lot of talking. Thank you so much for being with me for this last 20 minutes to talk about young professionals. Here are resources that you can use. The kit that I went over, this is the link. I made a video of how to start a Rotary Club. You should be able to see that as well. Here's my email, and this is last year, or district governor this year is Samantha Wale, aka my mom. You can access all of this information in this QR code. If you stop this video and scan this, you should be able to get access to the Google Drive that I share at the very beginning of the video. And I just want to say thank you so much for being part of this amazing organization and being interested in engaging young professionals into your club, because that is the future of Rotary and the present of Rotary, and the key for us to make lasting change in our communities, across the world, and in ourselves.